Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited. Save KSMO, new poll favors keeping airport. NASA moves up Artemis II fueling test to January 31st. UPS cuts its losses, retires its MD-11 fleet. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Save KSMO, new poll favors keeping airport. A new poll shows 67% of Santa Monica voters favor keeping the city's airport open in some capacity. The survey, commissioned by nonprofit Spirit of Santa Monica, found that only 25% of Santa Monica voters favor closing the airport as soon as possible and converting the site to a 200-acre park, while 8% remains undecided. The results represent nearly a 3-to-1 margin in favor of continued airport operations. The survey revealed broad support for keeping the airport open across all geographic areas and demographic groups. More than 6 in 10 voters expressed favorable opinions of the airport, with favorability highest among those living closest to the facility. Business aviation advocates warn that eliminating Santa Monica Airport could strain the region's air traffic network and erase a vital emergency landing site. Legal challenges have continued. In late 2025, an FAA director's determination found the city violated federal law by diverting airport revenues for non-aviation uses in anticipation of closure. The airport's future has been a contentious issue in Santa Monica for years. Aircraft noise and pollution have been a concern for neighborhoods around the facility, and its location amid dense residential areas has raised safety concerns. Donald W. Douglas founded his aircraft manufacturing empire in Santa Monica, just 17 years after the Wright brothers first flew in 1903. After the break, Chicago steals a piece of Atlanta's crown.
There's a lot of places I get to at the end of the runway or in turnarounds that I need an engine running. So for me, it's very important to have a product that I'm absolutely confident with. I am very confident with the Trailblazer propeller. When I'm flying air shows, I know that propeller is going to be right for me.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Chicago steals a piece of Atlanta's crown. For the past 6 years, Atlanta has comfortably sat on the America's busiest airport throne in both passenger and operations numbers. However, preliminary data indicates that Chicago is edging Atlanta off the top in at least one area, logging 857,392 aircraft operations in 2025. While data still needs to be confirmed, FAA measurements say Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport was home to 807,625 takeoffs and landings last year. This puts it almost exactly 50,000 short of the winning number from Chicago O'Hare. GE completes testing of hybrid-electric turbofan engine. GE Aerospace announced the completion of a ground test campaign of a hybrid-electric turbofan engine system, taking another step toward advancing electric propulsion into mainstream commercial aviation. The tests were conducted with a modified Passport engine at GE Aerospace's Peebles Test Operation in Ohio, and were run under a NASA research effort called the Turbofan Engine Power Extraction Demonstration Project. The test program aimed to see how to integrate electrical systems directly into a high bypass turbofan instead of testing the components individually. Houston will get a spacecraft, but likely not Discovery. Houston's long push to score a retired space shuttle is still alive, but the odds of getting Discovery are fading fast. The fiscal year 2026 budget left the original $85 million authorization, but did not add the funds needed for such a careful move. NASA and the Smithsonian previously estimated that dismantling, transporting, and reinstalling Discovery would likely run $120 to $150 million at a minimum. So by simply not changing the $85 million framework, Congress seems to be shooting down Houston's plans. NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman has stressed that any relocation decision must stay within available funding and, most importantly, avoid risking damage to a one-of-a-kind artifact. Airbus's new CCO commits to ramping up aircraft production. Airbus's new chief commercial officer used one of his first major public appearances to lay out the manufacturer's priorities moving into the new year, and it seems that continued production growth is at the top of the list. Lars Wagner, who took over leadership of Airbus's commercial aircraft division on January 1st, placed most of the blame for the slow production ramp-up on engine durability. Lingering issues with Pratt & Whitney's geared turbofan engines have disrupted A320neo and A220 operations worldwide, grounding aircraft and complicating delivery schedules well into 2026. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. NASA moves up Artemis II fueling test to January 31st. NASA is moving faster than originally projected toward a critical fueling test of the Artemis II booster rocket for its lunar test flight mission, the first spaceflight to the moon in over 50 years. NASA is saying it hopes to complete the fueling and countdown simulation as early as Saturday, January 31st. The Artemis II SLS and its Orion capsule were rolled on the mobile launch platform from the VAB, Vehicle Assembly Building, to the pad at Launch Complex 39B on January 17th. There, teams have been integrating the platform with the LC-39B ground infrastructure and readying the rocket for its final phase of testing before launch. The wet dress rehearsal officially kicks off 2 days before its simulated T-0 liftoff time. Saturday will be the most critical period of the test, when the cryogenic fuel loading of the rocket's 2 main stages begins. The SLS will be filled with more than 700,000 gallons of cryogenic propellant and weigh approximately 5.75 million pounds when fully loaded. During the wet dress rehearsal, the plan is to run the clock down to T-minus 33 seconds. That's when the rocket's computer would take over monitoring the system during an actual launch. After these messages, UPS cuts its losses and retires its MD-11 fleet.
The legendary BD-4-seat program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged 4-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD-4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD-4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit SureWings.com and BDAviation.com for more details.
Welcome back. UPS cuts its losses and retires its MD-11 fleet. UPS is officially moving its fleet of McDonnell Douglas MD-11 freighters into retirement. This comes as an accelerated end to the tri-engine widebody's extensive service with the carrier, triggered by a fatal accident and the worldwide grounding that followed. The move follows a fatal crash on November 4, 2025. UPS Flight 2976 was departing Louisville Mohammed Ali International Airport when its left engine detached, leaving the aircraft to crash into industrial buildings seconds after becoming airborne. All 3 crew members and 12 people on the ground were killed in the accident. Soon after, the FAA ordered all MD-11s to be grounded to give investigators time to examine potential structural fatigue issues, including cracking in engine pylons. The aircraft never returned to service, leaving the grounding to effectively seal the type's fate at UPS. UPS said that the early retirement of the more than 24 remaining aircraft resulted in a non-cash after-tax charge of approximately $137 million. The retirement fits neatly into UPS's fleet modernization strategy. To fill the MD-11 shoes, UPS is expanding its Boeing 767-300 freighter fleet. The company has 18 additional 767s on order, with 15 scheduled for delivery in 2026. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.